Eric.
Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted. It's your boy, Jay McLovin, and with me, I got down below me, Logan Babyface Landers. What is up, my brother?
What's going on, Jay? Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. And like I said, man, I'm ready for tonight's show. We got a good one going for you, and I'm ready for it.
Yes, absolutely. And this is Unscripted episode 336, as we vastly are encroaching 340. What a time to be alive. And you guys can catch us on social media platforms. If you go to Unscripted Guys on Twitter, we do a pretty good job keeping everybody up to date. Again, it's Unscripted Guys, all one word. And then Unscripted Sports on TikTok and on YouTube. Check us out there. Again, it's all one word. And then Facebook, as always, at our Unscripted page. All right, there you go. That's where you can catch us, as always. And our next one is NBA playoffs, man. Let's just jump right into it, Logan. Let's talk about some Sixers and Celtics, man. I got to be honest with you, man. As you know, the series is tied up at 2 apiece. It looks like, at least I think anyway, Logan, that the winner of this series most likely should win the East and face off against whoever is incumbent in the West. I don't know how you see it, Logan. Before we get into the game, like, do you see this series as possibly being the decider of who you think will face the West?
You know, I've been kind of thinking about that, man, and it's tough just because I was not expecting Miami to play this well. Honestly, Jay, I think it changed last night, and I know we'll talk more about it in a second, but with the way that Adebayo played the other night, and that's something he hasn't shown really the entire playoffs, I mean, that's a really good pairing right there if they can keep that up, but I do think that whoever wins this series, whether it is the Sixers or the Celtics, I think that is going to be the clear-cut favorite for obvious reasons. You know, you have Celtics who had a really good year, who's got Tatum, Brown, and Smart, and then you've got the Sixers who, they have the MVP right now with Embiid and Harden, who is, as up and down as you could say throughout the entire playoffs. So I do think that whoever wins this series right here, and I mean, obviously it's good, right? It's tied 2-2. I mean, it very well could go to 7. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And but yeah, I mean, to me, do you see like a favorite right now in this series? Do you think it's forgetting the record and everything with the series? Do you think one team is just substantially better, or do you think they're still pretty much even?
Yeah, in terms of the Sixers and Celtics, Jesus, man, I do think they're very much, in a lot of ways, even. When I look, especially number one, when two things happen, I think when Harden is healthy and when Harden is on his game, like when he's giving the 42 points a night, yeah, they're definitely, and Embiid is healthy and doing what Embiid does, because Maxey, Harris, and company, when those two specific guys are on their A game, just like when Tatum and Brown are on their A game and Smart will contribute and so forth, Robert Williams and X Factors, it's so even. It's so even. It's ridiculous, man. But when one of those teams, and their starters has an off night, that's when you can see, okay, the other team has that clear advantage. When I look at the Miami and I look at the New York series, I don't see that clear cut, or I do see a clear cut favorite in that. And I just think Miami is just way too much. And we're going to get here in a second, but I think it's way too much for what New York has to offer. And that's why, and I don't know that Miami, if they do face a healthy Embiid and a producing Harden, or a good Tatum Brown connection with Smart chiming in and so forth. I just don't think they have enough to compete with those guys.
Yeah, I understand you with that, and might as well, since we're talking about, we might as well move on to that Miami series, and how they've really just dismantled the Knicks, right? And if it wasn't for the really good play of obviously Jalen Brunson, number one, then RJ Barrett's had a really good series too. I mean, if it wasn't for those guys, I mean, the Knicks would have been probably swept already. Randall has been non-existent. I think said he's one of the worst shooting just players in terms of the entire playoffs right now. He can't buy a basket, Jay. And
right,
you see just I mean, have you watched any of the post-game interviews he's had? It just seems like his heart's not in it. I mean, he said, I found a quote the other day. Let me pull it up for you. Look for it, but he doesn't seem like he really wants to be there right now, Jay. And once I find this quote, I'll read it off to you.
Yeah, and real quick, if I can, Logan, I want to point out, I felt like, one of the things I love about the Sixers and Harden specifically is the role that he's playing with that MSU shooting victim, Mr. Howe. He wound up donating.
Yes.
He gave him some game time or game. Literally, the guy comes off the win, takes off his sneakers, autographs them right there in front of him, gives the boy the shoes. Obviously, he got them the tickets to be at the game. But again, this is somebody who Harden reached out to the shooter, Mr. Howe,
mm-hmm.
and they've been in good contact. Like, he's not just doing it. I don't think it's a ploy. Like, he's really engaged with this kid and showing interest in what he's been through and things like that. And it really it blew my mind. And I wanted to I think that was the best takeaway from this Sixers Celtics game. And I do want to remember, I do want to reiterate how close this series is that this game went into overtime at 116-115 to tie it up at 2 apiece. And that's why I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite. Both of these teams are playing really well, and both of these teams have off moments. And so, but if you look at all their games, there's no blowouts. It's all extremely close, or if not damn near almost overtime games. But yeah, when you look at the Miami and we look at the Knicks series, you see a 109-101. The Heat wound up taking it. Hell, the Heat are up now 3-1.
Yeah.
And I just, like you said, when I look at New York, they got very little contribution from their bench. I think all in all, it was like 10 points total. Martin, I guess he gave him 10 points, 2 rebounds. Lowry, 15, 5, and 4 off the bench for Miami. And when I look at this team, Miami is literally controlling every statistical category that you can get, whether it be at the 3-point line, rebounding. They won the turnover battles. It's just their bench is outscoring the other bench. It's an all hands on deck effort when I see the Miami Heat. And when I look at the Knicks, I just see a couple of guys showing up and the rest of them just saying, I don't know, do the best you can. And what I mean by that is Randall has been – when Randall is on his game, Randall is on his game. And when Randall is not, it shows to the point where they consider benching him. Brunson, Barrett, both of those guys are doing what they're supposed to do. But it's just not enough for this Knicks team to truly, in my mind, be taken seriously.
No, and just to reiterate what you said about James Harden, I saw that story the other day before the game where Harden was going to bring him out with the shoes and everything, all that stuff you had mentioned, and I mean that's cool. We like to talk about some of the stuff that players do off the court that's positive and uplifting, and it really just shines a good light on him, lets you know that he's got a good heart and he's doing this for a good reason, and credit him for that. But back to Jay, I found that quote, by the way. I'm not going to play it on air just because I don't want us to get hit with a copyright or anything, so I'm just going to read it to you.
That's fine. That's fine, absolutely.
So in the post-game presser, Julius Randle was asked about the Heat out-hustling the Knicks, and Julius Randle said, quote, "Maybe they want it more," end quote. That's not what I want to hear, Jay, from a leader of my team.
Bro.
I don't want to hear that from a leader. And if you look at the highlights, if you look at the film, he's the one out there who's not giving that pure hustle you want from a guy who's getting paid how much? A good bit of money. I don't know how much off the top of my head, but
yeah, he's getting
enough to say that and make you kind of sit back and be like, don't know if we should have paid him that much. So they're paying him. Oh boy. So he signed a 4-year deal worth $117 million. He's still got 2 more years left on it, pretty much. So, that's a tough one.
So let me ask you this: do you think the New York Knicks should be ready for the conversation of maybe they need to move on from Randall?
Maybe, Jay. Maybe.
I'm just saying, maybe if that's the case, if that's the attitude he has, and you're trying to get to the next level, I always say one bad apple can ruin the bunch. And is it time to maybe, say, hey, thank you for your services, but, we need to take a different avenue of approach?
That might be it. Just because, look, I don't want that, Jay. I don't want that kind of mentality in my locker room. I'm not saying that this one thing should be why he should, if he does end up getting traded. You got to look at a few things. He has not performed as well as he did, not this past postseason, but I think in 21. And they gave him that big contract, and he's arguably, you could say, their third, maybe fourth best player on the team right now. Because Brunson's the clear number one. I think Barrett's outperformed him this postseason. And then you could maybe slot him in at the 3 spot. So it's just been another Jay, and that's the thing we said about him too, is that it's just he just kind of vanishes in the postseason. Like, we see a good bit of guys do. They're good in the regular season, but the postseason they can't do nothing.
And that's the thing I'm thinking right now. Randall is still playing at a level that he'll command something in the trade market. Of course, it ain't gonna be as big as the Giannis or the Goberts or the Donovan Mitchells or anything like that. But I do think that either A, they can get draft picks, or B, they can still get some good talent that does want to come there, that will produce on a consistent basis, and does have a more winning approach or winning philosophy or winning attitude, however you want to term it, to this team. And I think they can get themselves out of the situation of Randall into a better situation, or even draft picks for that matter, and go from there. But more so, what do you think about Thibodeau? I know they talked about this on the morning show. I kind of tend to agree with what Gonzo and Mike and them were saying when they felt like, Thibodeau is kind of antiquated or maybe past, his usefulness in the NBA as a coach that can get you to that next level in the playoffs, if not the finals. Is it time now for the Knicks to let go of maybe Thibodeau and go after a guy out there like a Nick Nurse that's still out there on the market?
Honestly, I think so. I think I'm not saying the Knicks need to blow everything up, because I think they have a decent team, but I just don't know if this is the right coach, Jay. I think Thibodeau's done a very good job in the NBA. He's had a job for a long time now, but I just don't know if he's the right fit anymore. If Mike Budenholzer can get fired, he won the championship 2 seasons ago. I think Tom Thibodeau can get fired. I just don't see it. I'm just kind of reading through some things here. An anonymous scout in the Eastern Conference was saying that, Eric Spoelstra has just been coaching circles around him pretty much, just putting on a clinic. He has. That's the reason they're up 3-1 in the series. And I know a lot of people will kind of, I don't know about downplay, but maybe don't give the amount of respect they should to him, to Spoelstra. But he's done a tremendous job, Jay, in his tenure with Miami for all these seasons now. But yeah, I would lean more towards the side of that he's probably going to be gone maybe this off season.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, in this, before we get into the Nuggets series real quick, I do want to point out, like I said, when you look at this last game, when it was 2-1, this was a pivotal game that honestly the Knicks needed to stay competitively in this series. The Heat came out and in the first 3 quarters just dominated them. Not dominated, but it was 31-30 in the favor of the Heat in the first. It was 25-18 in favor of the Heat in the second. And then in the third, after halftime, which is usually when you make your adjustments, it was 34-33 in the third, only to finish it with the only winning quarter that the Knicks had, which was the fourth quarter at 20-19. It was just the Knicks were truly never really in this game. And I think the lack of adjustments at halftime, like you said, the lack of leadership by Randall, Brunson can't do everything. He just can't. RJ Barrett can't do everything. They need that third guy if they really want to go far. And they need Randall to go grab whatever Mamba mentality that may be left out there in the world, try to gather up as much of it as he possibly can within himself. That's what it was going to take for this Knicks team. And the sad thing is, if Randall actually did that, if Randall actually got, that fire in his belly to go out there and compete, this team could probably beat Miami, truthfully. Because Adebayo, he's soft as Charmin. You can push that guy around the paint. And the fact that they didn't do that to him really says volumes, because that guy is soft. I saw Hardbanger in that last series, that one white kid, just pushing Adebayo left, right, up, and down. And it's like this, for whatever reason, they're letting Adebayo be a little bit more physical than what we typically have seen from Adebayo.
I mean, Jay, he had a double-double the other night. He had 20 and 10 plus. I forget the exact number of rebounds, but yeah. I mean, he hasn't had a game like that this postseason, and
not at all.
I feel like New York with either the combo of Randall and Robinson, I feel like they could have easily stopped it, like they had pretty much the entire series up to that point, but they just they couldn't get it done, and now they're down 3-1. So,
and then we turn our attention over to the Nuggets and the Suns, which is another interesting series to me, Logan. In the fact that I really thought the Suns were going to get swept. Matter of fact, I said it several times that the Suns were going to get swept by the Nuggets. And it started out like that. Logan, it started out like that. It was 2-0. The Denver was rolling, no issues, no harms, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Suns the next two games, and they're taking control to the tune of 129-124 on last night's game to tie it up. You can't ask any more from Joker. At 53-4-11, you can't ask anything more of him. Murray, yeah, you can't. And Murray put up 28-5-7. And Porter Jr. 11-10-4. I think Porter Jr. might have been the weakest of all the links, but I think it was the bench, man. They didn't get a whole lot off the bench. Green gave them 5, Brown gave them 5, and then Braun gave them 1. It just wasn't enough on the bench side of it. And it was too much Joker. Durant, hell of a good game, 36-11-6. I know that's not Frankie's favorite guy, but I gotta tell you, man, Durant throughout this series, really throughout the playoffs, has played fairly solid. To the point where even Booker gave you 36, 6, and 12. Shamet off the bench gave you 19. But here's the problem for me. I don't understand how when the Suns lose Chris Paul to the groin injury, he's been out for 3 games, how this is not 4-0 sweep and we're moving on to the next series. How is that possible?
Yeah, it's I mean, honestly, Jay, you can say that, I know we brought up Jalen Brunson, how he's been very good, but I mean, you can argue that, Devin Booker's had the best playoff run throughout any player, really. I mean, he's putting up points, Jay. He's shooting at a great clip. He's not taking bad shots. And I mean, obviously the Suns are winning. And I mean, this is why they made that splash, getting Kevin Durant. In the case of Chris Paul getting hurt, which he still is hurt, Jay. He's still not playing. I mean, they haven't missed a beat. If anything, they've gotten better, which is wild to say. But I mean, I'm still shocked that Denver still has. I'm shocked they're down this already. Yeah. I mean, I thought that. I thought Denver was, I wouldn't say the clear-cut favorites. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a really good team. But obviously we know that Phoenix is super talented. But, man, it's just I'm still shocked at this that it's tied 2-2 still. I thought Denver would have at least had a 3-1 lead. But, credit to Phoenix for fighting, man. Now it's pretty much back even. 0-0, that's how it is when these series get tied. And we'll see who can get the upper advantage tonight.
And the thing about it is just like this game specifically, this game four specifically was just like what we just witnessed in that New York Miami, where New York's bench was 0 damn near, and Miami's bench was with Lowry and I forget the dude's name off the top of my head, but they were getting production off their bench. The Nuggets got 0. They got like 11 points off their bench, and Shamet by himself is giving you 19 off of their bench alone. So I think the bench really was the difference maker in this series. We know that it was 13-7 in favor of Phoenix at the 3-point line. It was also 24-17 at the free throw line in favor of Phoenix. And then also it was in the Turner, or I believe it was in the points in the paint, 20-10 in favor of Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix has just literally controlled all the categories to get this win. And again, even though they were down Chris Paul, that bench destroyed the bench of the Denver Nuggets. And that really was, again, in my opinion, the difference maker in that series. Now, before we get to tonight's game, we'll come back to the Nuggets. We're going to come back to – actually, I want to stay on top. Tonight's game is the Denver Nuggets versus the Phoenix Suns. Let's just knock out who we think is going to win that one. I got to be honest with you. Joker, it's going to come – I feel like, Logan, it's going to come down to bench play. I have no doubt Joker's going to do Joker. I have no doubt that Murray's going to do Murray. I think Porter Jr. will put up decent rebounds and fairly decent numbers, but I think it's going to come down to that bench. Ultimately, I think in this specific series, it's going to be whose bench can outperform the other. And whoever's bench does that, I think takes it. I am going to give the edge to Denver on this. I think Denver does bounce back from this, and ultimately I think it goes 3-2 in favor of the Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. I think Denver has a good bounce back game. They've gotten punched in the mouth recently, and I think that Jokic is going to be even more upset than he already is, Jay. I mean, you saw him shoving the Suns owner the other day, and there were people saying, "Oh, he should get suspended for that and everything," and whatnot. But obviously, we haven't heard anything about that he is going to be able to play. So that you can just kind of sweep that one under the rug. But no, I think Denver gets it back tonight. I think that they get their win and they go up one more game in the series.
Okay, and I want to go back real quick. The other game tonight is the Sixers and is the Celtics tonight, and that is tied up at 2 apiece. It is in Boston. I'm going to give you the same thing I told you earlier. I think it's going if Harden and Embiid both show up. And really what I'm really talking about is Harden. Let's just be honest. I know Embiid's going to show up. If Harden shows up, then this team can beat Boston. If Harden doesn't show up, then I think Boston takes it tonight, especially on their home court. And I'm going to tell you, I have not seen enough of Harden showing up to really give me that warm, fuzzy feeling, even though he is coming off of a 42-point game. I'm going to go with the Celtics in tonight's game. Only because, number one, they're at home, and number two, I just don't know if Harden can carry that energy into this like he did last game. So I'm going to go Celtics on tonight's game just because of Harden.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jay, only because, Embiid's been kind of iffy in these playoffs too. And as an MVP, man, you got to be on point. We've seen Jokic do his thing. We saw Giannis have a good series before they got knocked out, but yeah, I still got to go with the Celtics getting it tonight. I think, you know what, Jay, I'll go with Tatum having a really good game. We'll see what he can do. I know Brogdon's been a really good addition for them this year, and especially in the postseason, but I think Tatum's going to have a solid game tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Let's talk about the series I know that has a lot of people talking. A lot of people talking, and I still can't believe we're actually – going to have this conversation, because if you'd have asked me at the beginning of the season, especially when the Lakers were at the 13th spot, if we were going to be talking the Lakers as of where they are right now at 3-1 lead. Yeah, as a 3-1 lead right now over the defending champions, Golden State Warriors, I would have told you you're out of your mind. Mm-hmm. And then Pelinka took back his coaching reins, took back control of this team away from everybody else that tried to put their little 2 cents involved in it, and made a really good trade that brought in a D'Angelo Russell, that brought in what's his name, Vanderbilt, and so forth. And I thought that was, and of course, then the emergence of AR-15, and obviously the trade that brought in Hachimura. Those were key acquisitions, but not nearly as big as just the ability of LeBron to stay healthy, and for AD to stay healthy. That right there is the biggest thing, and that's the reason why they're having the resurgence. Not that the trade didn't help that, but the fact that they are able and are playing at the level in which they were playing when they got the championship in 2020 in the bubble. And I am actually seeing reminiscences of the bubble team in this team, specifically in the play of AD. And I tell you, when you get those two guys playing down low, playing at the paint, and doing what they do, they are unstoppable when they can do that and when they can stay healthy. And that's what we're seeing, Logan.
No, you're exactly right, Jay. And I mean, who would have thought that this team, who was, barely made the play-in, and then now they're one game away from going to the Western Conference Finals. That's an insane turnaround. Like you said, credit to Rob Pelinka and all the rest of the guys for sticking it through and continuing to just keep fighting, man. Let you know the season ain't over until it's over. And obviously, when you got LeBron James on your team and Anthony Davis, two really good players, it's hard to get them knocked out. And that's what we've seen. We've seen that LeBron don't have to go out there and score you 40 every night like he used to. He can go out there and get you 20 some odd and get you some assists. That's all he needs to do, Jay. That's all he needs to do. You got AD, who has been, we said again, one of the best players in the postseason this year. Just not even just his offense, Jake. He's doing, he's scoring about 20 something points and he's grabbing rebounds, but just his defense has been tremendous for this team, getting blocks, getting boxing guys out, everything you need from a center that, say that the Knicks might need or whatnot. But he's been tremendous. Their bench has been looking really good also. It's just but Golden State, Jay, let's talk about them though. Jordan Poole has just been a train wreck. There's no way to sugarcoat it, man. He has been awful this postseason. After that big contract, what do you think the Warriors do? Obviously you're not going to be able to move on from him this early. And I get he's a young player, but you just signed him to a big year deal. A lot of money for a lot of years. Obviously Steph's been doing his thing. You can't put any of this on him, I don't think. Clay has also been kind of rough. He hasn't looked like the Clay of old. He's had his moments, but for the most part, he's been looking rough also. So what do you do with this Warriors team? Obviously, they just won a championship, but you can see that clearly something's missing from this team.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with you, man. Golden State, if they want to climb back into this series, and before we talk about that, let's just talk about other teams that have come back from 3-1. There's been quite a few of them. I know the Rockets have done it. I know the Phoenix Suns in years past, and I say years, I mean decades past, back when I think Barkley was there, had done it and come back. There's only been a few teams, though, that have come back from down 3-1. I won't even talk about the Boston Red Sox. And again, I know it's a different sport, but still, it doesn't matter. The fact is they were down 3-1, and they were able to come back and ultimately win the World Series. I'm just trying to tell you, when you go down 3-1, their back is absolutely unequivocally against the wall every game after that. But it can be done. It can. If you had the right team, the right coach, the right attitude, and the right talent, it can be done. And this is a team that has the makeup to do that, right? We're not talking slackers here. We're talking about guys who have 4 rings. Right. Thompson and Curry specifically have 4 rings. I think Wiggins has like 2 maybe. But what I'm trying to tell you is, look, Curry had a triple-double. Beautiful game last night. They've got to go back and rekindle game 2 where they took it. The Lakers took game 1. Golden State came back and took game 2. And if they could rekindle the effort from game 2, and if he knows about game 2, that's when Klay Thompson went off.
Yep.
Went off. And when Thompson is playing better than 3 of 11, which is what he did last night, he went 3 of 11, and the only 3 shots he made were 3-pointers. To give you 9, 5, and 2, that ain't going to get it done. Klay, that's not going to get it done. Wiggins went 17, 4, and 1. Again, they just didn't have enough from this team. Green, had a decent, okay night. Like you said, Poole didn't exactly have the best night that he should have had. Kuminga wasn't present. There was a lot of people that just weren't there. And that can't happen. Not against this type of team. Moody, Looney, all these guys need to step up in the paint and help out against AD and Braun and keep them from doing what they're doing, or at least try to limit some of what they're doing would be helpful. But again, when the only guy that's really going out there and playing his heart out is Curry, and everybody else is taking the night off, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Draymond, Jordan Poole, all you guys got to come and do what has gotten you 4 rings in the past, which is play championship-style basketball and not what you gave us the last 2 games and that first game.
Yep.
When we look at it, but again, I'm going to flip the coin too at the same time. We know that everybody now, I've seen several posts, Logan, where the Lakers have been, quote unquote, crowned the favorites in the West. Maybe even the favorites to take it all. Now, I don't want to jump on that bandwagon because I don't think we're quite there. But I will tell you this: if they're going to do it, James is playing well. Davis is playing well. We all know that. AR-15 is playing extremely well as well. But in Walker, again, this guy comes off the bench and gives you 15 points in the damn fourth quarter. Like, what the hell? Schroeder even did good at 10, 3, and 3 off the bench. So the Lakers bench contributed. Their big three contributed. But the one guy that didn't contribute but has contributed sporadically is D'Lo.
Yeah, he had a rough night the other night for sure.
Bro, that boy went 1 for 10 for 4.
He couldn't hit nothing.
Now,
he couldn't hit much.
You know, when I will tell you, when all of your guys are on point, when James, Davis, AR-15, you're getting good production off you're getting 25 plus points from your bench. Yeah, D'Lo, you could probably have a bad night and you'll be okay. Even against probably the Celtics and whatever, you'll be okay. But if you try to do this against some of the better teams, you know, it's not going to be okay. You know, so D'Lo, even though he had an off night, you can kind of cover that up because James, Davis, AR, everybody else played so well that they can kind of cover up D'Lo. But again, when you get go against some of the other teams in the East, if you get to that level, or even when you go up against Joker from Phoenix, or even not so much Phoenix. I know Denver's going to take that serious. I'm looking at Denver. I'm looking at Joker square on. Those are the teams where you're going to have to continuously. D'Lo needs to contribute more. But that's just my perspective. Frankie's team, he's on here. I'm curious to see what Frankie's perspective is on all this. Frankie Lake Show, baby. Talk about the Warriors and the Lakers.
Give us your thoughts.
Yeah. Before I get my thoughts, I just want to say there's a couple people out there. Before I hopped on, I was watching. They were commenting. Those guys are commenting on Jay's profile where he shared us.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I'm not touching that one.
We're not. No. I'm looking at it also, and it's not popping up. So if they're still commenting on there, I just want to let them know. Hop over to Unscripted, our actual page on Unscripted, not Jay. Don't watch from Jay's page. Watch from Unscripted, and you will be able to see your comments more. We had Mickey Delaney, and we had our boy Miami Heat fan. Yeah, Sanders is over there commenting. But yeah, come on Unscripted's page and comment. We'll see you guys there. But yeah, man, Lakers. What are the odds, right, Jay? What are the odds?
That's what they said to kick it off.
We start the season 2-10. We had a 0.3% chance of making it to the NBA Finals. We were a 13th seed team. We were the laughing stock of the NBA. Literally, I mean, we can laugh at the Houston Rockets and then everybody else below, but that's expected of those franchises because they're not, they don't have LeBron James. They don't have Anthony Davis, So, we were the laughing stock in the beginning of the year, looking so horrible.
Big shout out Russell Westbrook.
And then not only Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly.
I had to throw that one in there for you, buddy.
And then something happened. It was something called the trade deadline where Rob Pelinka finally, and excuse my language, but grabbed his balls and told LeBron James to sit down and shut the hell up because I'm the GM and I'm taking the role back. He ships out all these people, Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly, Kendrick Nunn, all these people. And he brings in Rui Hachimura. He brings in D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. Austin Reeves showing up on a perfect time when he needed to. He built a perfect roster around LeBron James and Anthony Davis to show them that they didn't have to go off and be extra tired when the time came for it to be. You got LeBron James and Anthony Davis getting all these minutes, but yet people are expecting them to get 30 points. There's no need for these guys to get 30 points when you have teams around them that are shooting the ball really well as also. Look at Lonnie Walker the fourth in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying in the fourth. I'm saying the fourth because that's his name, Lonnie Walker the fourth. Inside the fourth quarter, 15 points alone. he was the turnaround point for the Lakers last
Yeah,
night. No lie.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No lie.
Absolutely.
He was the point. He was the turnaround point. And once he came in, LeBron James took over as point guard. And everybody knows that once LeBron James takes over in a point guard position, it's game over because you're basically LeBron James he's ball handling the whole time.
Right.
And it's game over. So it was a really good game for the Lakers. I really liked that game last night. It really was. I mean, 3-point game. Both teams were terrible at shooting, no lie. Both teams were terrible at shooting.
Right.
But it was a good game at the end of it. It really was. And I got to give my shout out to Stephen Curry. The man literally is balling his heart out. Triple-double, 30-point, balling out really hard. And the man just, came away with a loss because he doesn't have people around him to help him out right now. Jordan Poole's not, he's not here. We got Klay Thompson, who is literally only showing up for one game in a playoff series. And
we got that China Klay rocking right now, that imposter Klay from a couple seasons ago.
And it's just really amazing. I mean, it gets to me too sometimes with the Lakers. We had Austin Reeves, who was literally he was terrible in the beginning of the game. Austin Reeves was literally getting me mad. I'm like, he's literally becoming the favorite player of my choice for the Lakers, and he was just, he was letting me down last night. But then he turned it around the second half, getting up to 21 points. Helping out LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You had D'Angelo Russell getting you a couple of points. Dennis Schroeder, just being terrible as he always be. Stupid turnover passes. Like, why would you try and do a behind-the-back pass to Anthony Davis when you could just hand it right off to him with no problem? It pisses me off. But everybody else around him is showing up, and if it's not showing up offensively, it's showing up defensively.
Absolutely. Hey, hold on one second. I want to address a couple of comments real quick. Mickey Delaney says, "Hi, Jason. Are you ready for Game 4, Krakens versus the Stars?" Yeah, I am actually. Delaney says, "Hi, Logan." By the way, my mom is watching. Don't know if you heard the word balls, but my mom is watching. So, Lynn McMahon, Kingsbury, appreciate you. Love you. Freddie Henderson, hey, what's up, man? I see you're watching, man. I appreciate it. Again, like Frankie said, jump over to the Unscripted page and your comments will show up. You know what? I don't mind seeing the Lakers win. I really don't. I told Frankie this a while back. I don't have a dog in the fight. My team is at home chilling. We got Odaka. Maybe we'll live to fight 3 years from now. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, I'm wishing my boy Frankie all the success with his Lakers. So there you go. There you have it, man. There you go. And Mickey, look, mad props, Mickey. You're destroying my Astros. You're destroying my Stars. I know you're excited. It's not over yet, but I am man enough to say congratulations and love you, brother. He said number 18th on the way. Well, yeah. You know what? Hey, we'll see. We'll see. The Lakers certainly. Lakers are certainly looking that way. Now, Frankie, I will tell you that I'm going to ask you the question real quick, and then we'll move on to NHL. But let me ask you this real quick. Your Lakers. We all know, and we've all seen the post where they look like to be the favorites in the West. How do you see your team? Because like I said before, I really think you're probably going to play either the Celtics or the Sixers, depending on who comes out of that series. I don't know if Miami has enough in the tank to go up against those guys down low with Embiid or so forth. So how do you see the Lakers if they do make it to the finals? How do you see them going up against a Celtics or a 76ers?
76ers would be good. I think that would be a good matchup. We talked about it earlier. I mean, you'll have Embiid going up against Anthony Davis. I think that'll be a perfect matchup for the paint. If we go up against the Celtics, I think it's going to be game over because, we're just going to do what we're doing right now. We're just going to attack the paint. Anthony Davis just being dominant in the paint. I don't think the Celtics have that paint material, with Al Horford and the rest of those guys to be more aggressive than Anthony Davis is in the paint. To where you got Joel Embiid, who's actually aggressive. It'll be a really good matchup against with Anthony Davis. So I would like to see that matchup go on. But hell, if it's gonna be the Celtics, if it's the Celtics and it's an easy one for us, the hell with it. I'll take it.
There you go.
Hey, I will say, just from an old school perspective, and I think everybody here or I think for you guys, and I say you guys, Frankie, and I know Freddie's the Lakers guy, so forth. The history of your team is extremely entrenched with the Boston Celtics. Oh, yeah. So if you don't want to see the Boston Celtics, if you're a Lakers person, you want Boston there. You need Boston there. You really kind of do. Just to say, hey, look, I want you to know the old school, new school, we still going to run you. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like we need the revival of that old school rivalry. I watched them back in the day. I remember Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and company, James Worthy and, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, the whole gamut going at it. And you want to see that in basketball. Basketball needs to see that.
And Jay, just to give a quick update, the game it's on right now. Got about 3:35 left in the first quarter. Sixers got the slight lead, 22-19 right now, leading the teams in scoring. For Philly, you got Embiid with 8. And then for Boston, you've got a two-way tie between Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. They each got 6 points apiece. So it's a tight game, getting near the end of the first quarter.
All right. And there you go, folks. We will see as we go further where we land in all of this craziness. But I just want to say one thing. If you're a Golden State Warriors fan, God, this has to suck right now for you.
Keep Jordan Poole away from the baddies. Keep him on the court.
I'm just saying, Rob Scott's, the Mike Hugheses, and everybody that sports the Golden State stuff, man. I just know it's got to be a hard time right now because you honestly don't have a third jersey to run to.
Ooh.
What a time to be alive. Let's do
that hockey. Let's get the NHL in here.
I'm sorry. That might have been a slight dig.
Slight dig. It's all good, though.
So we'll talk about the game that's currently on right now, which, Logan, is your team.
Yes, sir.
The Hurricanes versus the Devils, which Carolina, Logan, as you know, currently is 2-1 right now. You guys got beat pretty well by the Devils last night to the tune of 8-4. He's had 2 goals and 2 assists, and the Devils didn't take it easy on you. They came out the door swinging for the fences to 3-0. Then you guys tied up at 2 apiece in this, or you had 2 apiece, and then the Devils, just for the shits and giggles, go back and give you 3-2 more to give you 8-4 altogether. Wow. What a time to be alive, man.
It's impressive every time I see any team in hockey score that many goals.
It's crazy.
No, I mean, usually you see, I would say maybe like anywhere from 2 to 4 is the average if I had to guess. 5 is like, all right, 5, I'm getting about 5 goals, not bad. And then anything past that, it's like, okay, you're just having a great night offensively. And, for unfortunately for the Hurricanes that night, an awful night on defense and goalie. But it is what it is right now. Tied up 1-1 right now into the first period, going into the second one here shortly. And like you said, it's been a good series though so far. I mean, this has been a really good series between these two squads. 4 games in so far now. And we'll see how it can go, Jay. And also, your boys, you and Mickey, going at it a little bit later tonight at 9:30.
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into that series since we're already talking about it. Oh, by the way, the Devils did have 3 shorthanded goals on you guys. Yeah. But again, man, look, right now you're still in control 2-1, Logan. Yep. And I'm going to tell you right now, tonight I do think the Hurricanes do get the win. I think the Devils go down, and I do see you guys going 3-1 over this. Well, we'll see. Does anybody, since we're on this real quick and we're talking about this game, Logan, I know this is your team. Who do you have? Do you have your Hurricanes or Devils?
I got the Hurricanes rocking with this one, Jay. Come on. Right. You said it, so I got to echo it 3-1.
There you go. And Frankie, who are you picking in tonight, the Hurricanes or the Devils?
I'm going with the closest team near me, baby. I'm going with the New Jersey Devils.
Hey, you know what? Hey, and you don't know, man. Hey, the Devils the Devils played a hard series against, I believe, it was the Rangers, right? Wasn't it the Rangers? They played the Islanders. It was the Rangers. It was the No, it was the Islanders, wasn't it?
No, it was the Rangers.
Was it the Rangers? Bro, New York has damn teams.
Carolina knocked out the Islanders.
Yep.
Okay, so it was the Islanders, correct?
Carolina
the Islanders got knocked out by the Hurricanes.
Okay.
The Rangers got knocked out by the Devils.
Okay. Bro, New York has so many teams. I have a hard time keeping them straight, man. Like, you guys have like 3 hockey teams, bro. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Anyway, it's crazy. No, seriously, if you look at if you want to talk about a state that has a lot of sports franchises, bro, New York's, for a small state, they have got a lot of sports franchise. It's insane to me. Anyway, let's look at the Stars and Kraken. First of all, I'm going to give props to Mickey Delaney. Look, I can take mine because I can sure as hell give them. So, Mickey, hey, man, right now you're cracking. Hey, you're playing well. You're doing well. I really didn't know how you were going to be able to take the physicality of what Dallas was going to give you. But like Stat Guy has said before, you guys are fast and you are skilled. And I'll tell you, last night, the biggest thing that hurt the Stars last night was penalty minutes. They had 6 minutes worth of power plays that was given up. And I will tell you, Carolina absolutely took advantage. Not Carolina. Seattle took advantage of it. They really did. The final score that was 7-2. First quarter was nothing, but that second quarter was all Seattle, 5-1, and the third period was 2-1 in favor of Seattle. It gives you 7-2. And I will tell you, Bauer had 24 saves. But if you watch that game, if you really watch that game, really, I mean, Seattle just poured it on Ottinger, and Ottinger played his heart out, but it was too much. And, of course, he gave up the goals. I really kind of wish they would have taken him out earlier, saved him for the next game because it was really just out of hand at that point. But shots on goal, roughly about the same, 26-25 hits, 29-20. The faceoffs was in favor of Dallas at 38-29. But again, Seattle gave you 3 power plays. Dallas gave you 2. But it was a penalty minutes. It was a penalty minutes that ultimately killed Dallas. 54 minutes for Dallas to 36 for Seattle. And Seattle made use out of every damn minute and gave us 7-2. And ultimately, the Kraken took it. I am a Dallas Stars fan. I am going to sit behind my team. I do think we even up the series at 2 apiece tonight, and we go into Game 5. I think it's going to be another hard-fought series. We had a hard-fought series against the Wild. I don't see how the Kraken are going to be any different. So I do think it goes the full length of the series. And ultimately, I still have Dallas taking it with the physicality. But I'm not going to overlook nor discount Mickey Delaney's Kraken with the speed and the skill that they have. It's going to be a hell of a series. Logan?
No, I'm with you, Jay. And I want this one to go 7 so you and Mickey can continue this tremendous banter y'all have had all playoffs. So got to go 7 with y'all. But I think you'll get some payback tonight and get one back up on the Kraken.
Yeah, Frankie, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It was a rough night the other night, man. It was all freaking Mickey, bro.
Hey, but me and Jay were both wondering.
The Astros lost to the Mariners in the 9th inning, or the 8th inning, and then the Kraken beat the Stars. It was a rough night, man. It was like Mickey Delaney was hitting my DMs harder than anything I've ever seen. It was crazy.
Hey,
but,
Jay, me and you were both looking for some defense for our teams on hockey.
Bro, it was a rough night. It was a rough night. I cried. I stopped ignoring, and I started ignoring Mickey Delaney's texts. I just wanted to go to my private place and just sulk. But anyway, Frankie, man, Stars Kraken, man. Number 1, what did you think of the last game? And then number 2, and then number 2, how do you see tonight's game? And then who do you think wins the series? In your opinion?
Well, to be realistic with you, Jay, I don't really care about the last game. I don't really care about Seattle. I don't really care about Mickey Delaney's teams. All I know is that Dallas is going to turn it around and be victorious. They're going to walk in. They're going to walk out of here and go to the next round. Just like you're giving my Lakers some love, I'm going to give your Dallas Stars some love and go ahead and say that the Dallas Stars are going to win tonight. Just because there's nothing worse than having to deal with the Mickey Delaney.
My God.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Frankie's just oh my God, just straight to it, huh?
Bro, you know what? Hey, Mickey, I don't want you to think we're picking. I'm not picking. You know, look, Mickey, you know I love you, man. I do. I do have good feelings for Mickey. I do. But Mickey, holy crap, man. Bro, you hit me in the DMs, and then Logan, to make it worse, he's putting links on my Facebook page.
Oh no.
Bro, there's like no running from this. There's no place to hide. It's like holy crap.
Everywhere you go, you just go.
Bro, it's like I got delusions of Mickey Delaney, man. It's crazy.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Let's go on to this next series, which is the last series. It's Vegas and Edmonton. I will tell you, Tony Gonzalez must be extremely happy right now because Vegas is Tony's team. And they took out Edmonton Oilers last night 5-1 and gave Vegas the edge at 2-1. And Hill, the guard for them, had 24 saves. And Marchessault had 2 goals. But Vegas came out right from the jump and smacked Edmonton Oilers in the face at 2-1 in the first, 3-0 in the second, ultimately 0-0 in the fourth, which ended at 5-1. But literally 2-3. I mean, just did not give them much of anything. 23 blocks for Vegas to 13 for them, and ultimately Vegas looks pretty good right now. I got to admit to you, man, Vegas for the West Coast, Vegas is looking pretty good. Man. They're looking pretty damn good. Logan?
No, you're right, man. And Vegas, it's people need to study just how good Vegas has been since their inception. You know, like I said, we all know year one they came into the league, went to the championship, or almost got it in the Stanley Cup Finals, but unable to pull it off. And we see something now with the Kraken, who are doing the same thing pretty much, who were pretty much right at the door and knocking to get in. And I mean, they're looking great against the Oilers right now, man. They're looking really good. The team's flowing good. They got the energy. They got the vibe. And I think they're going to continue, man. I think they go up in this series 3-1.
Frankie, let me ask you this, man. I don't know what it is about the city of Vegas, man. I don't know if it's the slot machines, the blackjack tables, the Vegas shows, the showgirls, the glamorous lifestyle, the strip. I don't know what it is, man, but everything Vegas touches, unfortunately, with the exception of Logan's Raiders, everything that Vegas touches just turns to gold. You just saw Becky Hammond, year one, take the WNBA championship. Now you're looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, just having their way with Edmonton. I mean, what is it with Vegas?
These guys been here before. They really have. I feel like that the Vegas they've been around for about 5 years. We talked about it earlier. I talked about it with that guy. And they've been around for 5 years. And they've been in the playoffs, I think, every year but one.
I think
so. They've been in this situation before, and they still have the same people that they've had all this this time. I mean, if not, they probably let some go, but added some more players to make it even better. This Las Vegas Golden Knight team is just they're so special. They really are. Not being a fan of hockey before. Until this year, I've watched them. We've watched them. We've watched hockey teams. We see who wins the Stanley Cup, but we didn't care at the time. But at the time when Golden State, listen to me. At the time when the Golden Knights came out, this was a team that was in the Stanley Cup their inaugural year. So they know what they had to do to win and to succeed. I think this round is more easier for them. I don't know how Edmonton had that one win, but I feel like this round should be more easier for them. I think the next round, depending on who they face between the Krakens and the Stars, that will be more of a competition for them, just like how the first round was for them a little bit.
Right.
When they had to play, I think they played Winnipeg. Winnipeg gave them a little fight, but not too much of a fight. But I think the next series is where they're going to have to actually play hard because the Krakens and the Dallas Stars are a different team compared to Edmonton that I'm seeing. But I think they win.
Let me cut you off. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I think they win, and I think they win the series, just like Logan said.
Frankie, this kind of is more of a question for you because I know we had talked about this, and I want to say it was the morning show, and I'm pretty sure Stat Guy was there and Gonzo was there, but we were talking about the Canadian teams, and there was sentiments that they thought that it could be possibly a Canadian Stanley Cup, or the teams from Canada were going to be somehow or another in the Stanley Cup. But if you look at Edmonton, if you look at Toronto Maple Leafs, it doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I don't know what happened. I mean, they had to play into the hands of tough people. I mean, you have Toronto right now playing off against a red hot Florida team who literally, like I said earlier in the afternoon show, they're riding high. on being a team that eliminated literally the best team in hockey, on setting a franchise record or setting an NHL record on both scoring, on both wins and points. You know, you eliminated them, so that rides high, and then you come in against a good team of Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're right now up 3-0, and you're at home. They're at home.
Right.
So
Right.
this clearly is in favor of a sweep. No doubt about it. This is in favor of a sweep. And Florida's playing with so much momentum and defensively with coaching. And I've been saying it for a while now because I had to deal with Florida in the first round. They're playing high. Edmonton, I don't know what happened with them. I feel like they had a really, really good series against the LA Kings, and then they just disappeared. I don't know what happened with this team. They look so much completely different in this series against Vegas than they did in the first series against LA. I don't know what happened to these boys. But you're right, Jay. It looks like that dream of having a Canadian Stanley Cup Finals is looking to go out the window.
Yeah, and I think I want to make sure I quote this right. I want to go back real quick to kind of wrap up that thought. You know, when again, and I think you'll agree with this. How well the Florida Panthers played the Bruins, which was the best team in hockey in the regular season. And especially the team that we thought was, I'll be honest with you, I was scared of Boston because they were looking nasty, really going into the playoffs. And I was really and I'll be honest with you, Frankie, I was totally looking past Florida. Florida was not even on my radar. And for how well the Panthers have played against you guys, you know, and then you see how well they're playing against the Maple Leafs. I mean, I think a lot of people, me included, or maybe even me specifically, overlooked the Florida Panthers and what they had to offer when we were talking about Toronto. And now I think we're really kind of overlooking it when we were talking about Edmonton versus Vegas.
Jay, I'm going to be real with you. I think we overlooked every Florida team. Let's go
I
back.
think we did.
Let's go back a while because you had the Dolphins, who ended up in the wild card. You had the Miami Hurricanes, both men and women, make it to the Final Four in college basketball. Now you have the Miami Heat. Now you have the Miami Heat on the verge of going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and now you have the Florida Panthers looking to go to their conference finals in the Hockey League. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, they're doing something over there in Florida that nobody's even paying attention about because we all know that, you know, Florida is, you know, they're not a good team. But hey, everybody, you got to pay attention to these guys. These guys are quietly good.
I think I will tell you this. This is the last thing I'm going to say about Florida teams. Is I'll be honest with you, I definitely overlooked University of Miami when it came down to NCAA.
So did I.
I definitely overlooked them. God, what a time to be alive.
So did I, because not only did you guys lose to Miami, you know the Hurricanes, we also lost to a Florida team as well, Alabama. So we both lost to a Florida team.
Bro, I don't even want to go back and remember that stuff because I really had high hopes for Houston. I had such high hopes. But anyway, I have buried it. I have put it in the dirt, and I have moved on. I'm not going to cry any more tears. Argentina. Real quick, I want to talk real quick. Bronny has officially declared for USC to stay in LA, to stay closer to home. I think that was a good choice. In terms of colleges, I don't think he could have chose a better college, and I'll tell you why. But there's also some reasons as to maybe why it's not a good fit. Number one, I think it was good because he has his dad in his back corner, his back pocket. He, all the experience and things his dad can teach him, show him. I thought that was a great thing. To get the mentorship from LeBron James, because LeBron's going to be in his ear, I think is invaluable. But having said that, let's talk about why maybe it could be bad or not bad, depending on how you look at it. James being the right fit at USC. Let's say, again, staying close to home, that's a pro. Could elevate the Trojans to favorite status in the Pac-12. That's a pro. USC already has a great backcourt on paper and fifth-year senior Bobby Ellis, who averaged 17.7 points a game in 22-23 season. And then they had the five-star freshman, Isaiah Collier, who has lots of college coaches saying that he is probably the most college-ready guard available. So you got to imagine, if that's how they're looking at it, that Bronny's going to have to come off the bench to support that backcourt. How will that affect him? His minutes may come in terms of off the bench. His minutes could be in support of one of the other guys in case they go down with injury. And then, of course, they can also go a three-guard set. Now, if they go a three-guard set, then that would obviously put Bronny out there in the limelight. But again, I think with the crowded backcourt that they have, or with the set backcourt that they possibly have, Bronny's only going to do a year at college. I don't think Bronny goes more than a year because I think he wants to play with his pops. I think he wants to go pro. And if that's the case, I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. I think NBA scouts are already got their minds made up on Bronny for the most part, unless he just does something crazy. I think Bronny's going to land in somewhere, in the high levels of the NBA first round. So I don't know that USC and being behind a backcourt that's already possibly logged in is going to necessarily hurt Bron. But I don't know that, it necessarily helps out his college career either. And I don't even know how much Bronny cares about it. Maybe Bronny is just looking towards the NBA. But I think he's a good fit in terms of what he could bring to the table for USC. I just think that because they have a crowded backcourt, it could be harder for him to crack that backcourt unless he stays at USC for more than just 1 year. What do you think about it, Frankie? What's your thoughts on Bronny being a good fit with USC?
I like the fit. I really do. And everything you said is it's good. Stat wise and pros and cons. I feel like it's good fit for him. He's gonna develop his game more. I don't think he's gonna be there for just a year. I hear you what you're saying that he wants to quickly go into the NBA and play with his dad. I give him about 2, maybe even 3 years max, because the way the NBA is today, LeBron James can literally play until he's like 44, 45. It's just the way the NBA's play today. So I feel like he's gonna be there for a couple of years, and him coming off the bench, every freshman starts off like that. They come off the bench because you're not gonna start over these players, these juniors and seniors who've been there for a while and know the way they play the game and know their playbook and what they want to do. So he's gonna come off the bench, but I don't think it's gonna affect him very much, Jay. I feel like him coming off the bench is really good. He's gonna show them how good he played, and potentially sometime next year throughout the season he will get that starting spot. And if not, the next year he'll get that starting spot. There's no need to rush Bronny. The one thing I do like though is he picked a team that's in a very tough conference in the Pac-12. That's gonna develop him as a player really well, because you don't see him going to a conference that's so weak to where he can literally just show out and be so good and be a top candidate for the draft, and then come into the NBA he just looks horrible. No, he picked a team that's in the Pac-12 filled with so much competitive college teams to where he can develop his game a little bit better and get ready to be successful in the NBA. But I think it's going to be about 2 or 3 years before we see Bronny come into the NBA. I don't think he wants to rush it. There's no need for him to rush it. Like you said, he's close to home. That's a good thing. But the one thing that I like, and I just said it, is that he picked a team that's in the Pac-12. That's really something. Like you're going and you're showing the people that I'm going to this team because they're in a tough conference and I want to play against these tougher schools to develop my game a little bit better.
I don't know. I'm not making. I hear what you're saying. I could kind of maybe see that a little bit because maybe Bron might have had, or maybe LeBron kind of had an influence on that. Maybe nobody knows for sure. Only those two guys know that for sure. Either way, USC is not a bad school to go to, even if Daddy picked it. To be honest with you, but here's my thing, Frankie. This is what I'm sorry. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I was just saying I don't think LeBron James picked it. Honestly, I feel like LeBron James would have been okay with any choice that Bronny made. Honestly, he already said that he's excited because Bronny's the first person in his family to go to college. I think he could have went anywhere. I feel like the reason he picked there, and like I said, he picked there because it's a tough conference, and like Jay said, it's closer for him, closer to home for him. I mean, the man, he literally he could have chose anywhere. He could have chose Alabama. He could have chose Tennessee. He could have chose Duke. Like, it really don't matter. LeBron James would have been okay with it.
Let me ask you a question, and this is what I was thinking about. So again, I want to reiterate that they put a they put a 5-star freshman, which means Bronny's a freshman. They're both freshmen, but they put another freshman ahead of Bron in the lineup. And here's my thing. What that tells me that maybe maybe it's good for that Bron doesn't go to the NBA right away, because if you're going to put another freshman ahead of LeBron Jr., that tells me that LeBron Jr. isn't ready, number one, for the NBA. Hell, he's not even ready to be a starter at the college level. That they consider him to be a bench player off the rip. Number one, that's first question, Frankie. The second question is, if you're LeBron James Jr. and they tell you you're going to come off the bench because they already had their backcourt set, why not look for another school that you can have a starting nod, or at least compete for a starting nod, rather than them telling you, hey, we're glad you came here, but you're not starting. To me, that's a little bit of an issue for me.
Right, I see what you're trying to say, but it's also, like I said, it also comes down to competition. I mean, if Bronny want to show his true skills and show that he's actually good, then you go out there and you show them out how good you really are. Even if you're on the bench, if you're showing them that you play good coming off the bench, who's not to say that you get more playing time even still coming off the bench rather than the starter is being in there starting the game. It's a possibility, but to hear the first question of the five-star recruit freshman starting over Bronny, it's in the answer, Jay. It's a 5-star recruit. I don't know if Bronny's a 5-star recruit. I mean, yeah, he's the son of LeBron James, but he's not LeBron James.
Right? No, I get it. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I totally get why the freshman will be starting over Bronny, is because he's a 5-star guy. But if Bronny comes out and you know already that this guy's starting over you, you're both freshmen, and they're considering him a 5-star rather than you, then that's where you come out and you show these guys, I'm not here to play around. I'm not here to joke. I'm here to show my skills, develop my talent, and show why I should be the top guy here in this team. It'll happen. I got faith in Bronny. And it's not because LeBron James is his father. It's because the man is he's a hardworking kid. He's kind of following in his father's footsteps, but doing it kind of differently. LeBron James didn't go to college, Jay. This kid is.
Trust me. Oh, yeah. Bro. When LeBron was out, he was like a freaking. I remember when Bron got his first Hummer that he wrecked or whatever, got into an accident. Bron was a freak. I mean, everybody knew that this freak kid was coming out of high school, and nobody knew what to expect. They just knew this freak kid was coming out of high school. And that's exactly, I'm glad you said it, because that's where I think sometimes, we're looking at Bronny James, and because he has the namesake of Bron in front of James, automatically we are assuming that we're talking about LeBron James 2.0, and we're not. We're not talking about LeBron James 2.0. We're talking about a completely different kid who just so happens to be the son of LeBron James and carry his first name like him. And I think the biggest thing about that was if this kid's a 5-star recruit, and like you said, we don't know what Bronny is. Maybe Bronny is less than 5 stars. Maybe are we, in fact, because we want to link him to his dad so bad, maybe making him out to be more than what he is? Maybe he's not as good as what we're hyping him up to be.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Honestly, I feel like that's what it totally is. And like we said, I personally, I don't think he's up there just yet. He's gonna be up there. He's a talented star. He really is. He's a talented kid. I've seen what he's done, in that McDonald's thing, and throughout everything last year with this kid, I've seen a lot. and he really is talented. But
And the crazy thing about that is, I've heard Bryce is supposed to be better than him coming out.
And I wouldn't be surprised. And
That's what they're saying.
I wouldn't be surprised because it always comes down, to being brothers, and you want to be better than them.
Of course, absolutely.
Look at the Ball brothers. Look at Lonzo and look at LaMelo.
Yeah.
Or they're kind of like the same, but LaMelo's showing out a little bit better because he wants to be better than Lonzo. But
it ain't too hard. But the fact that he's on the court, Lonzo's still in the hospital.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the one thing. But I can't deny that, his little brother will be better than him just because he wants to, show that he can be better than him. But I think Bronny will be a good guy. And like you said, we keep looking at it as he's got the James name, and everybody's expecting that just because your father is LeBron James and he's the king of the NBA right now, that he's expected to be the young prince. No, this man, he's a different kid. He's a different skill of basketball. LeBron James learned the skill of basketball in the early heydays of, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and stuff like that, coming straight out of high school. This kid has to learn and he has to develop the new style of basketball, which is why I also think that's why he's going to college. If he was like his dad, Jay, he's going overseas playing in China.
Oh, absolutely. He's playing with the Shanghai Sharks.
Yeah, like he'll be going overseas and playing over there. But no, the kid decided to go to college and develop his game better.
Let me ask you this. This is pretty much the last question I kind of had for this topic. Was when it comes to LeBron James, want to play with Bronny, and LeBron is not getting any younger. Number one, for me, Frankie, it would be really, really hard unless LeBron literally sacrifices everything financially to go with this kid. Because you got to think, okay, if he goes 1 year, maybe LA can snag him up, maybe somebody else snags him up, and if somebody else snags him up, Braun would come over there on probably much a damn league minimum, whatever, or, whatever the case may be. Because he is older in the two. I don't think it's going to be quite that bad. But if Bronny goes 2 or 3 years, and as LeBron gets older, and now he's in his early 40s, nobody's going to pay that kind of money for Braun at that age to keep him with his son. How I guess the question I'm asking you, based on those facts, is how likely do you think it is? If you had to give a percentage, 75, 50, 100%, what percent do you think we'll actually see LeBron James and Bronny on the court wearing the same uniform together?
Oh, I'll probably give it about realistically, I'll give a good percentage. I'll give probably about a 62%, Jay. Honestly, I'll give it a 62%. And the reason for is, and I agree with you, LeBron James is getting up there in age. He's only 37 years old, close to 40. He's got about 2 years left or 3 years left on his Laker contract. I do think he's going to retire a Laker. No lie. I don't think he's going to go to another team.
I don't think he does either. I do think
he would retire the Laker. He wants to go down in that history with all the other greats, the Magic Johnsons, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Kobe Bryants, to retire in the Laker jersey. I think that's what he wants to do. But I think I give it a 62%. I give it a 62% chance just because he wants to have that moment of playing with his son. When it comes down to the deal of money, though, I think it'll come around the time where LeBron James is going to accept that veteran minimum deal. He's going to accept that veteran.
Let me ask this. That really kind of does lead into one other thought I had about it, and I want to get your thoughts on it specifically. When we're talking about GOAT status, when we're talking about legends, when we're talking about legacies, no legend, no real legend has ever gone out coming off of the bench. And I don't think it's going to personally affect Braun coming off the bench, but at the same time, because you got to imagine if Bronny goes 2 or 3 years and he tries to go on to a different team outside of the Lakers, that means Bron would have to leave the Lakers, which already kind of goes against what you're saying, that he's going to retire as a Laker. But if he did retire as a Laker, if he had to go to another team because another team selected Bronny, and then the other team says, okay, look, Bron, we know you're Bron James, but you're 43 or 44. Your production's dipped. You can't stay on the court because you're a little older in the tooth, your knees, whatever. Load management. We're going to put you on the bench and have you come off the bench. Do you really think Bron is going to do that just to play with his son for 1 year?
Oh yeah, I think he'll do that. I honestly think he'll do that. He was okay coming off the bench when he came back from injury. He had no problem with it.
Yeah, but that's coming. I get that, but that's a different scenario, right? That's coming back off injury. That's getting reintroduced back into the game. They knew he was going to be a starter this is like, okay, this is your assigned role. You are a bench player. Like, do you really want to be another Udonis Haslem? Nobody wants to be Udonis Haslem.
No, that's different. Udonis Haslem is a whole.
And I did kind of. I'm not gonna lie. I did kind of go far with Udonis, but you can kind of see. You can kind of see where I'm leading this direction, or where I'm going with it. Whereas this is LeBron James. In my mind, it would hurt. I don't even like LeBron, but it hurts my heart to see a guy of LeBron's status. It's like watching Grandpa come off the bench to play. I can't do it, Frankie. It hurts my heart. I can't do it.
Well, it's the one thing that it comes down to, Jay. You said it a little while ago. His age is gonna his age is gonna impact it, and that's what teams are gonna look at. If he stays on the Lakers, I don't think he'll come off the bench. I think he'll just get like restricted minutes as a starter. Probably get more rest time and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't ever, just like you, I can't imagine seeing LeBron James come off the bench.
I can't. It's just too weird. It's just too weird. We'll leave it there. We will see what the future of LeBron James, what Bronny has to hold. But I will say this, and I'm pretty sure, Frankie, I don't want to speak for you, but I think I can when I say this. I'm definitely going to speak for Unscripted when I say this, that we do wish nothing but the best for Bronny, for LeBron, for Bryce, for company. We wish you guys the best. Nobody wants to see any. I always love to see success. I always love to see success. And as long as we're on this show, we are a promoter of positive energy. And even if I hate LeBron James, I still love him in Christ. And I want him to be nothing but successful. And I want nothing but his family to be successful. We will move on to the next real quick, and we're going to fly through this real quick. Kyrie, I got a question for you, Frankie. Real quick. NBA free agents coming up available this year, or I should say next year, right? Soon as this season's the next NBA season. Who do you think would be overhyped and overpaid? I'm going to tell you who I think it is, and then I'd be curious to see what Frankie, if you think what I'm thinking, or if you have a different player in mind. I'm choosing Kyrie Irving. Oh, I'm choosing Kyrie Irving 20 weeks on Sunday. And the reason why I say I think he's overpaid and overhyped is because he has a long history of missing games. He lacks leadership. He hasn't cracked the 60-game window in the last 4 seasons. He's unpredictable. He's moody, unreliable, and lacks accountability. And everybody knows he lacks accountability. As a matter of fact, when I think of lacking accountability, Kyrie Irving's face comes to my mind. The 31-year-old, I want to give him props. He has the handles, right? He has the talent. He can score. The problem is with Kyrie is everything that I just mentioned before that hinders all the ability that he has. I do believe, though, that he will get a big payday. Now, why do I think Kyrie gets a big payday? Because the Dallas Mavericks and Mark Cuban have clearly lost out on Jalen Brunson. They're damn sure not going to lose out on Kyrie Irving, because if they lose out on Kyrie Irving, guess who's going to be the first one on Mark Cuban's office door demanding a trade? Oh, yeah, Luka Doncic. So, because the Dallas Mavericks don't want to lose out on Luka Doncic, they're going to give Kyrie the big payday. But again, for a guy who is if I could lump all that into one single word, flaky. That's why I have him as overhyped and overpaid. Frankie, I don't know if you have anybody in particular that you think might be overhyped or overpaid coming into the season. I can tell you, Chris Porzingis is on that list of available free agents.
I don't know who else would be a free agent, but the one person that I do think is overpaid, Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, hell yes. Twice on Sunday, baby.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is the only person that comes to mind realistically. I don't know if he's going to be a free agent this year or not. But if he's not, it still comes to a question like you guys are overpaying a person who clearly doesn't play for you. Like he's not playing for you. The man, I don't even know when's the last time we've seen a Kawhi Leonard play a full season, including playoff series. Like I don't know what happened with Kawhi Leonard after winning that championship with Toronto. Something complete. I feel like he stood in Toronto. And this is why we don't like Canadians, because this is what happens when you go to Canada. You turn into some softy when you come back into America. But it's what it is. And I think, Kawhi Leonard is getting way overpaid. I just don't know if he's a free agent. But I do agree, if we're talking about free agents for next year or going into this year, I do agree with what you said with Kyrie Irving. He definitely should not get a big-time contract.
For a guy that has such a good skill set, everything else about him just screws it up. All right, I want to move on to we only got two other things I want to talk about super quick. Frankie, I'm going to tell you something, and then I want your reaction. First, I'm going to give you the title. The title of it is A's broadcaster Glenn Coupler uses racial slur on air and gets suspended. Okay, that is the topic. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to read you a situation, Frankie. And at the end of this situation, I want you to tell me, do you believe what he says at the end of it in his apology, or do you think he's full of crap? Okay, here's the situation. Used what sounded like a racial slur describing a trip to the Negro League Museum. NBC Sports keeps him off the air until the review is complete. On NBC Sports California, before the A's played the Royals, Coupler talked about a trip to the museum with the colleagues Dallas Braden, but mispronounced the word Negro, making it sound like a racial slur. He apologized, saying it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, said his heart forgives him and hopes we can too. So he mispronounces the word Negro, which we all know how that could have came out. Frankie, is he full of caca, or did he really make the mistake?
Nah, he's straight up full. He's straight up full of it, Jay. Straight up.
Just saying, right?
You cannot have a misterm on Negro. You really can't.
I'm just saying.
There's just no way in hell for you to just come out and just say. I heard what he said. I've watched it and I've heard it, and I thought it was insane. But I'm glad what they did. I feel like suspended the hell with that. I would have fired this man. No more job for you, because that's just insane.
Mariah.
But I love Mariah. Poor Mariah. Hey, I will say this though, man. Like Bob said, the president of the Negro Leagues. I think we have to forgive him, because everybody makes mistakes. But forgiving somebody and keeping them employed at that position, even though he had 20 plus years at the job, you can't do it. There's got to be a punishment that fits the bill. And, hey, I think we can all forgive him for whatever, because that's what we're supposed to do as people. But, again, there has to be a punishment that's levied on that. And the punishment should be that he's terminated, and he needs to ride off into the sunset and then figure out how to be a better person. That's how I'll leave it at that. We're going to move on to the last. This is the last thing I want to talk about, and that is what Major League Baseball team should hit the panic button. We are a quarter of the way through the season. Obviously, we still have 75% left to go. But is there a team out there, Frankie, that you think should hit the panic button? I'm going to give you mine, and then I'm curious to see who yours would be. And by the way, at this point, when I wrote this, I wasn't thinking this, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe the Astros need to hit the panic button because our pitching is horrible right now. God rest the Astros. God rest the Astros. We're pitching terrible right now, and it's costing us games. I think we've dropped 3 games in a row. No, 4 games now. 3 games. 2 games to Seattle, 1 game to the Angels. I don't know how they're going to play tonight. Hopefully they can rebound and win. But, Frankie, we brought in 2 rookies in the starting rotation to replace Urquidy, who hasn't come back yet, and also to replace Garcia, who is obviously out for Tommy John. And we're still waiting for Lance McCullers to make his debut. So if Lance McCullers and Urquidy can come back, and then the 2 guys that we called up, we put in the rotation, whatever, or in the bullpen, then I think we can right the ship. Obviously, if Altuve comes back, Brantley comes back, maybe we can right this ship. But right now, I got to be honest with you, when it comes to Houston Astros, Frankie, I am a little bit nervous and depressed. But that's not the team that I chose. The team that I actually did choose was the Cardinals. At 11-24, they are currently in last place. And the reason why I chose the Cardinals is because, again, it's the same issue as the Astros. Starting pitching. They're 6 of 15 right now in starting pitching. They get a 5.48 ERA, which is horrible. Their defense is not good. The Reds are the only team that are worse than them defensively. So that means the Cardinals are second to last defensively. Plus, they got bad pitching. You can only imagine how many runs are being put on this team. If you can't figure that out, let me help you. The opposition's batting average is .296. Think about that, Frankie. The opposition's batting average is .296, and you're second to last defensively. And you have an abundance. Now, here's the bright side. That's the negative. Here's the positive. The positive is they have an abundance of position players that aren't being used that could be available for trades to upgrade their power pitching in the future or other needs as necessary. So the Cardinals, even though they need – the reason why I think they need to hit the panic button is because they have the capital and the position players to bring better quality stuff to them. And let's be honest, Frankie, when you're pitching at 5.48 and your batting average is at .296, if you're not hitting the panic button right now to get rid of some of these positional players to bring in better talent, maybe you want to rethink your strategy as a team. And that's why I got them hitting the panic button. But, Frankie, if you thought of a team that should hit the panic button, what team would it be?
I mean, I'm going to do this as politely as possible. I'm not doing it for my hate and for my love of any teams or in the sport. But if I'm going to hit the panic button, Jay, I'm going to hit the panic button on your Houston Astros. I really do. I mean, you guys are the defending champions. You got a really good bullpen, some key injuries right now. Luis Garcia is probably out for the entire year, having to get Tommy John. You guys didn't re-sign Justin Verlander. Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, all these guys are hurt. And, you're coming into a season where, you're honestly destined to win this division. But you guys are so hurt that you guys aren't winning the games that are key wins in a Houston Astros. These guys are honestly they're better than what they are expected right now. It's a long season, it really is. But like you said, we're already getting into it. We're already in May. And if we're going to start hitting panic buttons, my panic button is going to have to be the Houston Astros. It really does.
Yeah, and again, I started this whole conversation out telling you where the issues are with Houston. The issues are with Houston is we're not hitting like we're supposed to be hitting. We're not. If you look at where we are, our batting averages and where our batting averages are. We brought in Jose Abreu to replace Yuli Gurriel, which I still would love to have Yuli Gurriel back, but that's a whole other conversation for a different day. But we brought in Abreu, and Abreu is around the 230, 240 batting average. What? This is not what we brought. But this is not the Abreu that we brought in. This is not the Abreu that was nationally runner-up last year to Goldschmidt. I don't know what Abreu we got, but this is not the Abreu that we saw last year. And I've almost kind of feel like we got duped on the Abreu trade. But yeah, there's some areas, I don't know what they need to do, but there's some areas that need to be improved upon. I would tell you, our bullpen, I don't know what's going on. Our bullpen, our starting pitching hasn't done bad, honestly, but our bullpen has just dropped the ball several times. Mickey Delaney, Seattle Mariners, don't take this the wrong way, Mickey. Again, you got the win, and again, I applaud you for getting the win over us. I don't take anything away from that win. It was a legitimate win that you guys took over us. But I will tell you, it was our pitching in reserves that killed us against the Seattle series. We were killing Seattle. But in the later innings, after our starters gave way to the bullpen just messed it up. And again, even against the Angels, we were beating the Angels up until the point where the bullpen gave it up. So I don't know, man. This guy, Seth Martinez, he's horrible. He's dog water. So again, the Astros, I agree with you, Frankie. I don't know. I don't know if it's a panic button or a smart button that they need to find, but there are some changes that need to happen in this Astros lineup. And it's not all pitching; it's also the hitting too. If you look at our batting averages, a number of them have taken a dip. Honestly, a number of them have taken a dip, and we just got Chas McCormick back, so maybe he'll. I'm gonna cut him some slack. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Bregman, Abreu. Those Hensley, you guys are on notice as you need to fix yourselves. Okay, what a time to be alive. And then Mickey Delaney ends it with, "Yep, your bullpen shit the bed." Yeah, we did. No doubt about it. And you know what? I can't even discredit that. He's totally right. They have totally shit the bed, Frankie. I don't know what happened, man. Damn it. We got to fix ourselves. And Logan tells me all the time, Jay, don't worry. Start worrying at the All-Star break. And I get that. And I do understand Altuve will be back towards the end of the month. I do expect McCullers and Urquidy to come back within the next 2 weeks. Hopefully we can right this ship. I don't know. We're not too far out, right? We're like, I think 3-4 games out of first. We're not to a point where we can't come back from it. But Frankie, to your point, I give you credit. You're right. We got to hit the panic button if we want to fix this shit. Okay, enough said.
Not only that. I mean, you got all those players coming back, but how? And I said this to Stag Guy earlier because he mentioned this was a different topic. It was about a basketball player. I'm gonna say it to you guys, the Houston Astros. You're relying and you're counting on these guys coming back, Altuve and all these other dudes. But how effectively are they going to be for you guys? Because this is a whole new league, whole new rule changes and stuff. They haven't. I know. Started.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Started yet, so they have to fit into this system now.
Oh yeah.
So
it's
going to take some while for the Astros. But you guys don't want to dig yourself too deep of a hole. Like you said, you guys are still in there. You guys are about 2.5 games behind the league for the division. I mean, it's still in it. As long as you guys can continue staying in it, you're good. But if you guys dig yourself a deep hole before these guys come back, it's going to be a really, really long season for you.
Yeah, no, I don't, excuse me, I apologize. I don't discredit anything you're saying. I think everything you're saying is exactly what's actually going through my brain as well. And those are some of the things that I'm concerned about as well. And, I don't know, man. Maybe this is the season that I thought was going to be a great season, and maybe it's just the season of injuries, and we got to take a step back and regroup and come back next year. I don't know. I don't know if it's too early to think like that. But I will say this, man. I'll tell you, man. The way this season has started, both for you, Frankie, and for myself. I had a different beginning to this season. I got to be honest with you. I had a different beginning. And again, a lot of it is just due to injury. Your guys being injured, my guys being injured. And, some things you can control and some things you can't control. And the one thing that scares me is that maybe you guys hit the panic button too soon on injuries, or we hit the panic button too soon on injuries to save this season, only to maybe jeopardize our future. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever decisions the Yankees make or the Astros make in lieu of injuries and being where we are in the standings, I just want to make sure that your team and my team, and hopefully the guys that are in charge are making the right decisions, not only for this season, but for seasons to come. You know what I'm saying? So we'll leave it at that. Frankie, we're going to get some final thoughts, and then we're going to kick rocks and get out of here. What's your final thoughts, brother?
I want to say Lakers in 5. I really do want to say it so badly. But just to be honest,
Frankie, if you're going to say Lakers in 5, and I'm okay with you saying that, by the way, say it with your chest like a Lakers fan. Come on, let's go. Give it to me Lake Show style.
I want to, Jay, but Game 5 is back in Golden State, and we know how they play at home, and these guys just coming off a 2-game losing streak. I don't want to, I don't want to say it, and the next we get blown out like we did in Game 2. But the hell with it, frick it. I'm riding high. We eliminated the number 2 seed Grizzlies, and now we have 3-1 against the defending champion Golden State Warriors. Fuck it. Lakers at 5.
Thank you. God, is it so hard to find Frankie Lake Show? Jeez Louise, give it to Frankie. Come on, let's go.
Caitlin just asked if I needed help. No, I don't need help. Lakers at 5, babe. Lakers at 5.
I love it. I love it when the wife gets behind her husband and saying, Frankie, you're my husband. You better say Lakers with gusto. I don't know how much better is that. That's like Mel telling me, yo, Jay, Stars in 6. Let's go. Now, that is one thing Melanie knows. I will tell you this. If you ever want to ask my wife what sport she actually does know, she'll tell you hockey. Because her and her family, they're all from Dallas, and they all went to Dallas Stars games. So she'll tell you. Hey, she's an avid look, and she'll tell you the game. Look, she's been to hockey games, Frankie. She'll tell you about hockey now. That's one sport I will give my wife credit. She knows hockey, and she'll tell you, Jay, if you're going to say the Stars, you better say it with some gusto. So I'm saying Stars in 6. Let's go. That's my final thought. What a time to be alive, man. Hey, guys, listen. You can catch us on all social media platforms. Special shout-out to Frankie for Unscripted Guys over there. He does a really good job on our Twitter page. Frankie is absolutely got us on point with that. So check us out on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, all one word. TikTok and YouTube. Logan does a good job over there as well. It's Unscripted Sports, all one word. And then, of course, you can always catch us out on Facebook at Unscripted. Man, Mickey Delaney, Sandro Arroyo Sanchez, and everybody else that commented, man. Logan, much love. Frankie, much love, man. What a time to be alive. And we will catch you guys tonight. Don't forget, we still got right now the current score on Vegas on Carolina. On the Carolina game is Carolina 5-1. I believe they're playing the Maple Leafs. God forbid, I hope I don't get that wrong. But it's 5-1.
Jersey.
Dead Devils. I knew I was going to get that wrong. Thank you for the correction. So they're 5-1 right now over the Devils. So it looks like they're going to go up on those guys as well. And then we got the Kraken and we got the Stars. I think they come on at 9:30 if memory is serving correctly, Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, man.
And Jay.
Yeah.
At halftime right now, Philadelphia's up 58-49.
Bingo. I knew that was the one I was forgetting. 58-49. Philadelphia. And before we go, Frankie, I think it was you that was saying that maybe the Sixers and the Lakers could be in it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Hey, and by the way, if that does happen, I am literally going to order 8 boxes of tissue off Amazon, and I'm going to mail it to Pride. What a time to be alive.
I'll tell you
all
what,
right, I have given you all the
before we head out, if the Lakers play the Celtics in the finals and we beat the Celtics in the final, let me rephrase that. If they beat each other in the finals and when we beat the Celtics in the finals, if that happens, we're gonna change this organization of the Boston Celtics. Literally, so they're gonna change. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna start falling. Players are gonna start leaving. They're not gonna get re-signed. Like this is. I think this is it for the Celtics because you went to the finals last year, lost it.
Hold on, Frankie. Don't give all the nuggets away. Frankie, don't give all the nuggets away. That's a Thursday topic. I'm already going to put that in there. Don't give all the juicy tidbits away. And I said it because I want you to be back on Thursday because I know you got a rough schedule. Yeah, you'll be back on Thursday. Thursday, we're going to talk about what happens to the Celtics if they don't advance.
Fine. We'll save it for Thursday because not only will we talk about that, Jay, we're going to talk about the release of the NFL schedule because that's
snap! Well. I'm glad you said yes. So you will get what is the fate of the Celtics, and then also the release of the NFL schedule. Those will be a couple of the topics up for bids Thursday. Frankie, I didn't mean to stop you, but Bubba, you about to give all that juicy information, and we had to hold that on Thursday.
It's fine. I can hold it.
Hey. We got to keep these followers coming back, baby. We got to give some juicy. But Frankie did give you some juicy tidbits to think over between now and Thursday. Until next time, it's my boy.
Please tell me that I can't.
Soon, Jesus. That's what she said. Too soon. It's your boy, Jay McLovin, and then babyface Logan Landers. And as always, Frankie Lake Show, Foxborough Frankie the Yankee. All 3 in 1, saying, deuces.
Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail.